Hey, what's up, YouTube? Gonna do a quick video on off-grid remote living and some things hopefully that'll be a help to anybody that's interested. I am here in the Mat-Su Valley, about 20 miles north of Squitna, Alaska. I have an off-grid place that is a remote that's fly-in or snow machine only. And if you're interested in living remotely in Alaska, hopefully some of this information is helpful to you. You need to find land that provides all three: shelter, water, and food. And you can find this land on Alaska MLS, and you can search for vacant land, remote. You can search for recreational, residential, commercial, whatever that you're interested in. If you're interested in remote land, you can find vacant remote land on that site, Alaska MLS. And you need to realize that realtor is not your friend, and he will sell you, she will sell you anything that you're willing to pay for. They don't care. They get a commission, and the more that you spend, the more money they make. And it doesn't matter if it has access to it or not. It doesn't matter if it's swamp. It doesn't matter to them. So do your own research before you spend money on land. And you need to study the maps, topographic maps if you can find them. A really helpful is Google Earth. Study Google Earth and know what you have on or around your land, access to it. If you're going to have plane access, you need to make sure that, like on a lake, that lake is long enough to take an airplane off, because you can bring in a big heavy plane onto almost any lake. They won't be able to fly off. So you need to make sure that you can take an airplane off of your lake. You can look for riverfront property and have boat access, but you need to understand that most riverfront property floods every year. Every year the glaciers melt faster and faster on top of rainstorms and stuff, and the riverfront property floods. Another thing to think about on riverfront property is the erosion. If you pick the wrong side of the river on a bend, you're going to have your property erode a lot faster than on the other side. Look for a bluff, look for on the other side of a bend. Snow machines, if you're gonna have snow machines, look for the right proper snow machines to use. Utility sleds, wide tracks, super wide tracks. I use Ski-Doo Expedition and a Ski-Doo Scandic. Scandics are very good because they have good flotation. They have that tub bottom to them in the front where they don't sink down very easy, and the pogo style front suspension doesn't get caught on sticks and alders and all that stuff that can rip your suspension off. So make sure you get a good snow machine. Do not cheap out on a snow machine, especially if you live far out like I do, because you can be stranded, and if your survival skills aren't up to par, you will die. Come with a very strong neighborly attitude. Your neighbors are a lifeline out here, and whether you think that you're self-sufficient, you can do it all on your own, does not matter, because there will be a day where you'll need a neighbor. You'll need somebody to help you get unstuck. You'll need somebody to help come pick you up whenever your snow machine breaks down. And it's very important and can save your life. If you're an a-hole to your neighbors, just realize that you will need them one day. You will need your neighbors one day. They will be there to check in on your property at times. They will be there to, and no problem at all if you're good neighbors, to come on over and grab the screws that you need that's in my shed. Grab the chainsaw that's in my shed. Grab whatever. Again, good neighborly relationships is very, very important out here. Even if you don't care to have neighbors, even if you don't want to be too friendly with everybody and meet everybody, you're not a social butterfly, that's okay. Just don't be an a-hole to your neighbors. Books are very important. Certain books I got here to show you. You can learn a lot from the internet, but internet's slow. You can expect the internet to go down. But this book right here, you have these books in there. You can always look up what you need. Homesteading. This homesteading book. Country living book. And this is the most important one. Back to Basics. This is an older book that has the information in it that our pioneer grandparents used. how to skin animals, how to butcher animals, how to build a log cabin, how to build a shed, even how to build like entertainment stuff. You know, you want to build a musical instrument. It's got games in here, old style games for your children. Stuff to kill the boredom. That book is very important. It has, again, everything that our grandparents back in the pioneer days, how they survived off grid. Understand the seasons and its weather. If you do not work accordingly to the weather and the seasons that we have here, everything will be much more difficult, if not doable at all. The bugs are also a big thing. Summertime, we get swarmed with mosquitoes, and if you're going to go out to the woods and cut all your trees down in the summertime to get all your firewood, you will be fighting bugs. Bugs will drive you crazy. The mosquitoes will. Even gnats and the little no-see-um flies, they're really bad out here, and they will run you out of the woods. Everything costs more out here to get your supplies hauled in. If you're not going to do it yourself, it costs a lot to hire an airplane for that part that you need, or for the sugar, or whatever. And part of that also is your vices. If you like to use tobacco, if you drink alcohol, if you smoke whatever, if you don't grow and take care of all that yourself, you will have that to deal with. And I have vices. I chew tobacco. I don't drink very much, only when I go to towns or whatever. None of that's important, but my biggest vice is tobacco. And it can drive you crazy whenever you just ran out of your chew tobacco, and now you're thinking about an $800 airplane and how to fill it up so you could just get tobacco out. So if you can get rid of your vices, I highly encourage you to get rid of your vices. To get started, you'll be wanting to haul your supplies out to, you say you found a piece of land that's got a creek on it, got a lake on it, it's perfect, it's everything that you want. You'll need to think about how you're going to haul out your supplies, how you're going to haul out your tools and building materials, your food and fuel. These are the important things that you got to have. And wintertime is the best time for that. With snow machine, put it all on a sled and haul it all out. It's a whole lot cheaper than hiring an airplane at $2,000 an hour. So you'll want to haul out your supplies, get them tarped up, do everything you can to bear proof it, because bears will get into it. I've had to deal with that, hauled out a bunch, and they like oil for some reason. They like the smell of it. I had a bunch of jugs of bar and chain oil that when I got to the property, I had no more bar and chain oil because the bears had got into it, played with it, bit holes in it, and it leaked out, whatever. But everything costs more, but it's a lot easier because there is no wasteful spending. There is no stops at the gas station every day. There is no restaurants. There is no Walmart going in for a loaf of bread and coming out with $100 worth of crap that you didn't need. So everything does cost more to live out here, but again, there's no wasteful spending. And the money that you do earn out here saves up and real quick, and then when you go to town and you've got $10,000 sitting in the bank, that covers your fuel. You know, I use 6 barrels of fuel is what I use about every year, and that's on how it's more now, but you know, talking about like $2,000 worth of fuel, and that's all I needed to bring back. But I've got $10,000 sitting in the bank. Guess what? I can buy a new 4-wheeler now. I can buy a new gun. I can buy whatever it is, all the stuff that I never had money to spend on, because again, those soda pops at the gas station add up every month. So it does cost more, but you save a lot more money living out here. When you get to your land, you need to start clearing the land. Clear the land. Clear it for your building site, and not just your building site, but clear as much brush away from your building site, your living site, as possible. The less brush that you have around your place, the less bugs you're going to have to deal with. And they are really, really hard to deal with. They can ruin a good time real quick. Clear trails. Clear your access trails. If you need to get up and down to the lake for whatever reason, make sure that you got a nice clear path for that 4-wheeler, or even just for walking. Building priorities. Make sure your priorities first and know what those priorities are. What I understand, or what I've come to, is storage is your first priority. making sure you can get all your materials up off the ground and into a storage shed out from a tarp, protected from the bears, the weather elements, from mice. Get all your storage built first, and I'd suggest build storage and good enough where that becomes your new living quarters. You can live in your same storage shed, you know, a hot plate, a small griddle, whatever, and a bed, a heat source, whether it be something propane, a little wood stove, whatever. But make your storage first, and then start with, if you're going to have animals, build your chicken coop. Make sure they're all taken care of first, so that way you can then focus on your main cabin. And how many people, or however, whatever you need for your cabin, build your small cabin first before you build your gorgeous, beautiful log home, that lodge that you've been thinking about. Build your small cabin first. You can find places that are all ready for sale that are out here remote, and you can find them fairly cheap. It's not uncommon to find a cabin with storage shed, the outhouse, that comes with the four-wheeler, that comes with the boat, that comes with the snow machine, that comes with 20 years worth of tools accumulated, comes with all your spare parts, all your bolts and nuts that a hardware store would have. It's not uncommon to find these places for sale, and you can get them fairly cheap, but know that they've already been lived in for a person's lifespan, and that roof may need to be replaced. The foundation logs, all that stuff might need to be worked on. And you can find this stuff pretty cheap. I know a man that bought a nice little compound with a couple cabins, workshop, all what I just told you, 20 years worth of tools accumulated, and he paid $60,000 for like 15, 20 acres with all of that. So you can find it pretty cheap. A lot of times people like me live out here, call them crazy, call them whatever, recluses. They lived out here and they died out here, or, you know, they got old and had to go back to town and they died, and their kids, their loved ones, don't want nothing to do with out here, and they're just trying to recoup some of the money, trying to recoup something out of it. And there's not a whole line of people waiting around the corner wanting to live out here, do this. So you can find stuff really cheap. If you watch my videos, I got a cabin across the lake with the blue roofs on there. That guy is exactly what I'm telling you about. He's gotten old and no longer wants to come out here, and health problems and this and that. Now he's trying to sell it. You can find his place on that Alaska MLS. But again, if you come with a neighborly attitude. And some other talking points. This valley, the Mat-Su Valley, no longer has the spruce forest that we did whenever I first moved here. Beetle killed everything, beetle kill, and now it's all rotten, punky wood. If you find anything that's still standing, it's going to be punky and rotten, probably a good 6 feet up off the ground. And then you can I make stuff out of it, but you're not going to find a spruce forest to build your log cabin from. So your building materials in the Mat-Su Valley, you'll need to haul it in from Lowe's or Home Depot or Spenards or whatever, and that was an important thing to know, that that's no longer out here. The riverfront always floods. Wildlife, bears and moose are the most dangerous creatures that we have out here. Wolves. Out of my 10 years living out here, I've only heard the wolves howling twice. During the winter times when I do my snow machining, I'll find them 10 miles away down by the river, and never seen one, but just the tracks, knowing that they're there. Bears, though, bears are a nuisance, and it's mostly the black bears. The grizzly bears are afraid of people, and they will do everything they can to avoid people. It's your black bears that are coming and looking for a free meal. They will come and get you in your burn barrel. They'll come and lick your barbecue pit. They smell all that, and they're not as afraid as the grizzly bears are. Or, again, they're more hungry, I guess. I don't know how you would say that, but it's the black bears that you're going to have a problem with. And they have two characteristics, too. Again, the grizzly bears smell, notice man around, and they will hightail it as fast as they can to get away. Black bears, though, are what to worry about. And you can deal with bears. Again, you got bear spray. Have a good gun, a big gun. I tell you, a grizzly bear, when their adrenaline gets to going, they're almost impossible to kill. They will fight even though they're dead. You know, their heart's been blown out of their chest, and they will still rip you up. So don't come with these 357s, 9 millimeters, 45 calibers. I used to carry a 45, but I wanted something with a little bit more penetration. I recommend a 10 millimeter, and maybe that's not good enough. From what I have seen, my 10 mil carries almost 20 rounds for that reason. So carry a bunch of lead. But one of the best ways to avoid all that is don't go ninja through the woods. Make a lot of noise. Hey bear, hoop and holler, whatever. When we first moved here, we lived in a tent. Lived in a tent all summer, all break up, all freeze up. We lived in a tent, and we had to deal with bears. And a couple ways to avoid them is to make sure they know your presence. I peed on every tree all around my camp, and I peed as high up that tree as I can. I wanted them to think that that was a big dude. You know, I'm a 10-foot person because I peed as high on that tree as I can all around my camp. Going to bed, hooping and hollering, let them think that there's a Bigfoot in the area. Go to hooping and hollering. Make sure that everything in the area knows that there's a man around, because everything in the woods is scared of men. So let your presence be known. Another thing is to have a dog. And I would say it matters what kind of dog, but there was this man I knew, he brought out a couple Chihuahuas every year. 2 little Chihuahuas, but just them peeing on everything, the bears could smell and sense that dog, and even though they were Chihuahuas, the bears stayed away. It wasn't until his Chihuahuas died and he got rid of one, and he came out that he had a bear problem. A dog is important. A dog will let you know whenever something's around, even though you have no clue. Sorry for the shaking. It's middle of June, but it's still a little chilly. The sun's out, or not out, and windy, and been getting rain today. Another thing to know is that town people, there's rich town people that have their weekend cabins out here. Every single one of them will think that you're raiding their place. Again, come with a neighborly attitude. That really helps whenever they show up and they're a jerk to you, and you just be nice to them anyway, and that relationship will change. But every single one of them that I've met have automatically figured that I was raiding their place. So that's something to think about. The bugs, to deal with the bugs. Again, you clear that brush. Clear the brush. A mosquito magnet, this propane operated device that catches them and sucks them into a vacuum, into a net, that's a very important thing too. If you can get that, make sure that you're dealing with that. Also, I was talking about existing homestead, existing cabins that are out there. Here's one thing that you need to pay attention to. If they've been lived in, they were a full-time resident out there like I am, you need to understand that after 30 years, the firewood more than likely won't be there. They'll have everything set up for you, solar, all this, all the tools, everything that you need. But the last 30 years that they've lived there, there's no longer any firewood that's easy to access in that area. So that's one thing. So again, study your maps. How do you make money out here? There's a number of ways to make money out here. If you like trapping, and you can make money trapping, freighting. You get yourself a good snow machine and trailer. You can work jobs. And again, it does not take much money to live out here. A couple $1,000s for your fuel. I'm raising 5 kids out here. It's about $3,000 a year for food, and it's all from scratch. Bags of sugar, bags of flour, bags of beans, bags of rice, peanut butter, all this kind of stuff. And that roughly adds up. Well, last year is about $3,000, and that takes care of a whole year's worth of food, pretty much. Get yourself barrels to put your food in. It helps keep them fresh and safe, and keeps them clean from the weather and whatnot. But a metal barrel with a screw on or a removable lid, that's what I got, and they worked really great. Internet, if you're an internet person and you know how to make money on the internet, make money on the internet. It's easy. I guess I don't know how to make money on the internet, but again, if you're good at YouTube, you can make a living off internet, taking surveys, whatever. If you're a computer tech person and you can work off, remotely, if you were able to do your job and make a living while during COVID at home, I don't see no reason why you couldn't make it out here. Seasonal work, again, be good with your neighbors, because you might get some summer work, building a shed for them, fixing up something that's going down on their place or whatever. So you can pick up seasonal work pretty easy out here. Souvenir making is another big thing. If you're in arts and crafts, you can make souvenirs for all the tourists. I mean, that's, I think, our main source of income here in Alaska is from the tourist season. And if you're good at making stuff with the furs, if you're a trapper and you can make hats and gloves and stuff like that, you can triple your money on what that fur is worth, not more. If you get to the point like I've got, where you got a small cabin and your sheds in your main cabin done, you can look at, building a lodge, starting a lodge where people pay you, they pay good money to come out and fish for a week. They pay good money to come out and moose hunt for a week, or bear hunt for a week, or hunt wolves, or again, just a family vacation someplace where they can say that nobody else has been. We took a family vacation to the remote wilderness of Alaska and canoed around this nice lake for a whole week and blah, blah, blah. And you can get a pretty good chunk of money. It's like $10,000 a week at least, just for having a nice place to stay. And hunting and fishing, like I said, I would advise, though, even though I have maybe dreams of doing a lodge, I will not bring people out here to hunt the food that I'm going to hunt. So the hunts that I will do in the future will be wolf hunts, black bear hunts, stuff that I don't necessarily need a guide for. Or again, you can hire a guide to come live at your place and make it a more special hunts. But you'll need to know the laws. And Alaska has hunting and fishing laws that you need pretty much a lawyer's degree to understand. At least I do, coming from Missouri, where it was, I got 5, or I got landowner tags for free. And if you killed it, it didn't matter how big the buck was. You just had to call the phone. Yeah, I got one, blah, blah, blah. And there's how many points, blah, blah, blah. It's not that easy here. So again, if you kill a black bear, kill any bear here, you're going to have to fly into town and have the Game and Fish seal it and deal with that. So even like me, it doesn't cost me anything to come out and hunt. I still got to pay for an airplane to take me into town, and then pay for an airplane to bring me back just to report that hunt. So it's not so easy. Fishing is the same way. You're going to have to report certain fish, certain their links, and the rules and regulations to all of that. But you can make money on hunting and fishing. But I'd advise that if you're going to live off grid and you want to do remote self-sustaining, don't bring people out to hunt the food that you're going to rely on. There will be no moose hunting. I will not bring people out here to moose hunt. Raising children and homeschooling. Like I said, I've raised 5 kids so far. I've got number 6 on the way. And it's a wonderful thing to look at it, my kids, and they are nothing like the kids of the world. My 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids, I've got one now that's be 21 next January, just turned 20. He's nothing like the young men that grow up in town and go to school. He is very responsible. He is very much a man and can take care of himself. And the relationships that I've built with the pilots that I use, he's working $35 an hour right off the bat at 18 years old. And they love him. He's responsible, he's reliable, he's dependable. He's nothing like kids that you find in town. My daughters, they're young women. They cook and clean, they do it all. And very much will make great wives one day. They're not caring about fashion or what's hip or what the trends are and all that bull crap. They're very much mature. Homeschooling is nice. Alaska has great homeschool programs where you can get the state will give an allotment per child. Like I got 5 kids, and all 5 of my kids will get an allotment. If we used it, we don't use it because of our internet connection, and I don't want more internet. But it's like $1,200-$1,500 a year per child that the state will give you to school your own children, and that could be used for instruments, musical instruments. It could be used on field trips to go look at whales, besides all the curriculum stuff that you would need. And again, if you're saving your oldest as kids 7th grade, you don't have to buy 7th grade for your younger ones. or on down. So you can save money on that. And plus, there's another benefit to that is that they got a program with those allotments. You can save up. If you save it up, by the time they're 16, they have a school where you can send your child to go get an airplane license and go get their private pilot's license. And the state will pay for that out of that allotment. Something to think about. I am a veteran. I served 2 deployments through OIF, and I receive benefits from the VA, and that takes care of my money. I don't get much money, but again, like I said, it doesn't take much to live out here. On top of that, up to $150,000, I'm tax-free. My property here, I do not pay property taxes on. Whenever I need to go to the VA and I need to go to appointments, the VA pays for my travel. They'll pay for the airplane to come get me, bring me into town. They'll pay for the lodging, the motel stays that I got to stay in, and they'll fly me back. So there's great VA benefits in this state also if you're a veteran. And on top of that, I just want to praise Jesus for bringing me out here. I had no idea what I was doing. As his word says, not to think about tomorrow. It brings its own troubles. And we came up here. We packed everything up without having a place to stay, knowing what we're doing. And we just moved up here. And the Lord is very much taking care of us. And he's provided in great ways. And living out here, I have faced my death more than I ever did in OIF. More times have I been on the verge where it could have killed me. That could have killed me every year. Every year, either I've had limbs fall out of trees as I was cutting them down, been hit right in the head, cutting up buck and brush, and had them come right up in my face and saved me from inches. I've almost fell in the frozen river a few times. I've fell in frozen beaver ponds. It's an adventure, and it's very dangerous. And you need to understand that one mistake out here will kill you, unless you got a guardian angel, unless you got him helping you. And so I just want to, at the end of this video, I just want to thank Jesus, my Savior, my Redeemer, my husband. I thank him for covering me, taking over, and providing all of our needs. And I'm not smart enough for this, and everything that I've got here, I do not know what I'm doing. I don't have building experience, and I've just a lot of prayer asking for wisdom. What do I do next? What do I do next? And what you see on my page and my videos is him blessing me. And if you come out here, you need to know that you're going to need him. You will need him. And I just want to, again, at the end of this video, just thank Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for blessing me with this life. I come from some bad parents, drug dealers, on the run from the law. Mom's, I didn't have good parents. I've lived in the ghettos. I've lived in the barrios. I've lived on Indian reservations. I've lived in the trailer parks. And it is amazing to me that I look back and I see what I've got now, where I live and how I get to live. And just all glory to Jesus, because I don't deserve it. And there's no way possible that I could do this, but through him and only through him, all things are possible. And so, again, praise the Lord. I hope that you found this video interesting, helpful, and I'll try to make more. God bless you. Have a good day.